Hello and welcome back. This is our 8th and the last session on this blinking game project. Now we have already applied almost all the game logic, but only thing that is pending is now we have the player jumping over the collider, and when he jumps the score is running, but if he fails to jump and if he hits the collider, we have to end the game. We have to show a game over screen, and once the game is over, when you tap, the game should restart. And apart from it, we are going to add some audio also. You will also learn about how to use audio in Spark AR Studio. So now let us begin. MetaSpark Studio is now open. It has been already launched. I will go to File, Open, and I am going to go to my Blinking Rays version 7, which was the last version that I saved in the previous class. I will select it and click Open. Okay, this is launched. See that in the Show Video library, Logitech camera is selected so that you can see your own face. Now coming back here, I will come to File, and first I am going to save this, and this time I am going to now save this as version 8, and I am going to click Save. So I will maximize it. So if I run the game, I will come to Simulate Touch, and if I run the game, so when I jump, see, he is jumping, the score is running, everything is fine. But when it crashes, nothing is happening. When it crashes, I want the game to get over. Now we are going to apply this logic now. So I will stop the playback. Now I will come and restart here. Now I will come back to the editor here, and if you see here, see, when we added the score, we compared two aspects here. One is whether the x is equal and y is greater. Now if it doesn't jump, what happens is x is equal and this y will not be greater. So if player animation y value is less than this collider value, equal or less than collider value, then it means that he has crashed. One second, I will just control and zoom out a little. Now I will come here and choose add patch, and I am going to add and patch, and I will click add patch. So I am adding one more conditional check, and for this and, one condition I am checking is whether both the x values are equal with a tolerance of 50. The second condition is, here we tested it as greater than. What if it is not greater than? Means I have to reverse it, and you already know for reversing we use the patch not. So I will go to add patch, and I am going to select the not patch, and I will click add patch. And now this not patch I will put it here, and I am going to now take the output from greater than here, and I am going to connect it to this not patch, and connecting it to not patch now. And if these two conditions, that is, one is it is equal, x is equal, and this greater than, player y value is greater than the collider, if that condition is not true now, it is not, it is when it is false, because we have used not here, this is the second condition it is going to test. And when both these conditions are tested, the result that we are going to get, for example, I am going to connect it to this test hit as of now, and now if we just check the playback, now you can see as soon as it crashes, you are seeing the red light. Whenever he crashes, you are seeing the red light. You can see that. Okay. Now if I jump, the red goes away, but if I crash, you are seeing the red light. But here the thing is, I will stop the playback. I doesn't want to show the red, but when it crashes, I want the game to be over. So for this purpose, I will disconnect this test hit. I am going to come over here and select Game Over, and in Game Over you have visible tab here. I will click on it, and this will add the game over visible patch here. Now, if I connect this and put it directly to game over, now what happens is I will play, and when it hits, you are getting game over, but what is happening? It is coming and it is not stopping. Just like that red button, it is flickering, because every time he is touching, when the Y value is not less, it is testing and it is showing game over. But I want this game over screen to remain constant once he has hit it. So, for this purpose, what we are now going to do is, I will stop the playback. Now, here before adding this game over, I will disconnect it. From this and I am now going to add another node which we call as switch. I am going to add the patch switch here, and now you can see as soon as I added the switch, this pulse is added automatically. See, the pulse is automatically added. This pulse I won't connect it to flip. I am going to connect it to turn on, and I am going to connect this output now to game over. So, I will connect this pulse turn on to turn on here. Okay. So, now let us test what is going to happen. See, now if I play and if I crash, you get tap to restart and the game stops. So, this logic is working. So, I will start the game, and when I start, see, only thing is now the game is not starting back. Can you see? If I tap, the game is not restarting. So, how to make it restart? Well, I will come back here, reset the game, and then the logic that we are going to apply is, when you tap the screen, you have this option here, that is screen tap, switch and play. This is where we are testing or we are starting the game. Now, what I want to do is, I want this connection to come near this switch. So, instead of drawing this all the way to here, what I will do is, I will take this play here. From this play, I will draw another node, and in add patch now, I will add another value. I will add another value, and I will also set this value to boolean, call this as play. And why am I adding this again is, I just want to drag it and extend it so that I can bring this button over here, so that it is easy for me. So, bringing it over here, now when you tap, see, this game over button will be visible when this switch is on. Now, when you tap, I am going to make this switch off. That is it. And again, when I connect this, I have to connect a pulse in between. See, the software itself puts the pulse automatically. So, you have the playback. When I tap it, the thing is, this is going to generate a pulse, and this pulse is going to turn off this switch, and when this switch is turned off, the game over will not be visible. So, let us now check it. I will now again run the game and hits, and the game is over. But if I tap it again, see, the game again started. See, again I will tap it. See, the game starts. But every time when I am running the game, one problem is the score is not getting reset. See, the score is continuously getting added. If I click again and start the game, see, the old score is remaining as it is. I want this score to reset every time I start a new game. And how I am going to do is, for this purpose, now if you come to the counter actually in the counter you have an option here, jump, and you can jump. The current number it is set is to 0. Now this playback, when this playback starts, I am going to bring this playback, I will drag it and I am going to add another pulse now. And adding the pulse, I will take this pulse output here, okay, I will take it from here and bring it and connect it to jump here. So when I connect it to jump, now what happens is, and I have set the jump to number to 0. Okay, so now I will reset the game, and then when I start the game and he is running, the score is happening, but when it crashes, the score is 3, it is showing fine. But when I tap again, score is again reset to 0. Can you see? Now the score is 4. I will again tap and start the game. See, I will start the game. So the score starts from now. I have scored around 6. I will again tap and start the game, and you can see now the score starts from 1. So this logic is also working fine. So now we have almost the entire game logic has been set. Everything is working fine. Now the next logic is, this game without audio it is not interesting. So I want to add some background music. Not only the background music, when this character jumps, I need a jumping sound, and when he crashes and when the game gets over, I need a game over sound. And how to add it? Let us have a look at it. So for this, I am going to open my browser. I will come to my browser, and in the browser I first want the music. So for this, what I will do is, there is a site called freesound.org. You just come to this file. So as soon as you come here, you have register and login. If you are a new user, you register it. I have already registered it. Click on login, and I am going to log in with my account credentials. So I will add my account credentials and I will click login. And now once I have logged into this, now I am going to now select for first a loop sound for my game background. I will type game background loop and I will press enter. So I will get various options here, and I am going to see which game works, which loop sound works fine. So in this I will just go through it. I will choose this background loop. Some file is there. I will open this and I will play this. Okay, so some music, you can just select this, and now I will click on the download button here. So when I click on the download button, now what happens is, this file has been downloaded. Now here I am going to rename this as loop.wave. I will give it the name as loop.wave. Now after this, I will again come back here and I will search for a game jumping sound, and I will press enter. And here you have various jumping sounds available, and I am going to just see which is good. Here is one 8-bit jump. This I find to be good. Okay, I will select this 8-bit jump 19 wave and I will click download. So now this file is downloaded. I will come to the downloads folder and I am going to call this new file. I will call this as jump.wave. Now finally, when the game is over, I will select game over sound. I will search for game over sound, and here I am going to check for any one sound which is good. I will just select here. I am going to select and see this sound. Go one. This is not, I am not happy with it. This one. So this one I find it to be good. I click on download and I am going to name this last file that I downloaded now. I will right click and I am going to call this as game over. So, I have downloaded 3 files, but the only problem is the downloaded files are all in WAV format, and Spark AR Studio does not support WAV format. Here I can use only M4A format. Now, I have to convert it into M4A, that too single channel. You cannot even use stereo here. So, for this what I am now going to do is, in the browser I will come back to browser and I am going to search for M4A converter. So, and I will press enter. You have cloud converter, and the very first link cloud convert, I will click on this M4A converter, and here I am now going to add my file. I will click on select files and I am going to select all these 3 files and click open. Now, you can see, now to all this I will choose the format as M4A for all the 3, and then in the setting audio codec is AAC 128, and here only thing I will change is in channel I will set it to mono, and sample rate I will set it to 44,100, and I will click OK. So, the same thing I will do for jump.wave also. Channel I will set it to mono and sample rate 44,100, and same thing for loop wave also. I will set channel to mono and sampling rate to 44,100 and click OK. Now, click on the convert button, and now all the 3 files, see, you can hear the sound. I will first download the Gameover, and after that I will close this. Similarly, now I will also download the jump wave. So, the jump wave is also downloaded. If I just refresh it, now Gameover is also. So, I have downloaded here Gameover and jump, and I have to now download the loop file, and now all the 3 has been downloaded. So, now I will select this loop M4A, jump and Gameover M4A, all the 3 files. I will just cut it here, come back to Spark Studio. I will click on this plus sign, go to import from computer, and I am going to now select that has been downloaded and click open. And now you can see all the 3 files has been imported here. And after I import the audio, one more thing I have to do is, I have to click on the plus here, and you have one playback controller here, and I have to add this audio playback controller. I will add one audio playback controller, and I am going to call this as Gameover controller, and then I will select this Gameover controller, and for this I am going to set its audio to Gameover. Then similarly I will again click here and I will add one more audio playback controller, and the second audio playback controller I am going to call this as jump controller, and for this jump controller I am going to attach it with the jump M4A button, and again I will add one more playback controller, audio playback controller, and for this I am going to call this as loop controller, and for this loop controller I will attach the loop M4A button. After attaching these buttons, now the next thing is to make the audio play in our application. I have to come to my device here. I will close all this game element, and now what I am going to do is, that is in this focal distance rule, I am now going to add. I will right click and I will click on add object, and here you have an object called speaker. I am going to select this speaker, and the first speaker I am going to call this as loop, and for this speaker I will come here in audio and I am going to add the loop controller audio. And only thing is, for this loop controller I will set the volume little less. I will set it to around 30%. Now again I will come back here and I will come to this focal distance, right click, add object, and now I am going to add one more speaker. Remember, speakers we are not adding it inside face tracker, okay, we are adding it in the focal distance component, and here I am going to name this as Gameover, and for this I am going to attach audio as Gameover controller. And similarly now I will add one more speaker. Now again I will come here, right click, choose add object, select the speaker, and for the third speaker I am going to name this as jump, and for this jump I am going to allot the jump controller. Now what I want is, I will come to this programming part, and here whenever the game is over, you have the game over window here. As soon as the game is over, I want the game over sound to play. So for this I am going to select here, I will come to assets and I am going to first select the game over controller, and in game over controller you have one option here, play. I will click on this, it will add this play game over controller over here, and this I am going to connect this switch output to this game over controller. So now when the game gets over, you are going to hear this sound. Say for example, I will simulate the game, and when I press, see, you are hearing the sound. The next sound that I want to add is jumping sound. So for the jumping sound now, what I will do is, when it goes from this counter, and when it is going from counter, here at this point I am going to now come here and I will select the jump controller, and I will add the play node over here, and I am going to connect. So I am going to take before the counter from this pulse, I will take the output and connect it over here, and when I connect it, see, it is asking me to add one more switch here. Okay, so from this pulse I am adding this, and this is going to play the jump controller. So from the pulse it is coming to switch, and I am going to connect this to turn on. So from the pulse this will be connected to turn on, and then now this turn on is going to run the jump controller. So now if I reset and play the game, I will reset the game, and when I play it, when I, one second, see, when I jump, you are hearing the jumping sound. And finally, for the loop sound to play, I am going to select this loop controller. I am going to click on the play button here. I will drag this loop controller to the beginning, and here when the game starts, I am going to connect this to this loop controller, and the game starts, and here I will enable the loop button. So with this, our game is fully ready. Now what you can do is, you can go to file and choose save, and after this I will come over here to the publish tab here, and in the publish tab you have one option here to export this. Click on export, and now in your folder, and I am now going to export this. So this exported file, so I will just in blinking rays final, I will export this, and this file, now you can install Spark AR player in your mobile phone and you can test this.